Well, hey everyone, back again here, and today we're gonna take just a quick look at the Galil Ace Gen 1. This one is in 5.56, as you can tell. Uh, Probably just gonna do a quick little video, things I like and things I don't like about the gun. Um, I'm probably gonna keep this rifle forever, so I'm gonna do a continuing review on the gun as time goes on. Uh, yeah, I plan to do test some accuracy with steel case and good quality ammo and test longevity, see how the parts wear versus a regular stamped AK, Arsenal 107FR. And just kind of in general what I think of it. But I've had this now for probably 5, 6 months, maybe. I bought it back in the summertime. Well, actually, I bought this a couple weeks after the ammo ban, the Russian ammo ban, and I had an AK-74, and I liked it, but I only had like 1,500 rounds of a 5.45, and as soon as the news hit, 5.45 like doubled in price overnight, and I didn't feel like only having 1,500 rounds was good enough. Oh, excuse my nasty car. This is my work vehicle. There's my main vehicle, so this is just my work one. Anyway, so I didn't feel like 1,500 rounds was enough to justify holding on to the gun, and I sold the 74 that I had at a really nice profit. And I wanted to get something that was an AK, but in 5.56, and along with the price of 5.45 going up. The price of 5.56 AKs also shot up the same week that news hit. But I managed to find this just a few weeks after, I guess. And it wasn't long after IWI announced they would quit doing the Gen 1 rifles. So I gave 1,600 for this, and I feel like that's a good deal. It's a little bit less than what they go for, what they went for new when they were coming in. And these Gen 1 Aces have just kind of gotten silly in price. I see them now for around $2,000 or so. But yeah, they just shot up in price. And this one was new in box and unfired when I got it. And as you can see, it's a later Gen 1, so it has the Generation 2 trigger. The trigger shoe itself is a lot longer than the Gen 1 trigger. And it's actually a pretty okay trigger, I would say. It's okay. Anyway, so I guess things I like about the gun are the quality overall. As you can see in the lightning cuts here, very, very clean machining. The lightning cut on the bolt carrier itself, super clean machining. The whole receiver is just very cleanly machined. There's no tool marks. Flipping it over, here's the other side. Lightning cuts, very nice, very nicely done. Overall, and the locking mechanism on the stock hinge latch is very solid, and actually the shape, this wedge shape that it has here, as it wears, it will never lose. It'll never wiggle because these wedges, they'll wear in with each other, and as it wears, they'll just get closer and closer together. Yeah, so it won't be sloppy. But anyway, so overall, really, the whole gun just feels extremely high quality. I mean, you can look at I assume these front sight block gas block combos are cast, but even still, getting in close here, it's very well done. You can see casting marks, the casting marks, but still, it's so nice. The barrel is really nice. The flash hider's heavier than it needs to be, bulky, but it's okay. I mean, it does what it's supposed to do pretty well. I can take it or leave it. But so that's my first impression with the gun. It's very well made, and I love these iron sights so much. As you can see, peep rear sight, standard front sight. They come built in with tritium night sights, and these sights were dead on out of the box at 100 yards. I had not, I shouldn't say that. The first aperture here is a 300 yard zero, but I hold about 2.5 inches under the target at 100 yards, and I can hit it no problem. And then flip this down, and you can see the 5 right there on the top of this aperture. It's a 500 yard zero. But as far as windage goes, dead on, perfect. No need to touch them whatsoever. I kind of suspect they zeroed them at the factory, honestly, because they were dead on. See, the rail is nice. I've had a couple different optics on this rifle so far. I've had a EOTech XPS 2-0. It was great. Sat a little high, so it's funny. It was actually at a weird height. You get a cheek riser for these rifles, but the cheek riser would push my cheek up too high to use an EOTech, so I had to cram my cheek down into the cheek riser, and that was actually uncomfortable. So I popped the cheek riser off and put the just like a chin weld, like you would with a normal, the regular stamped AK with the EOTech on it. That was okay. It was wasn't optimal, but it was okay. Traded that for a Trijicon AccuPoint, and that fits on this rifle really well. Goes really well too. It just barely clears the rear sight there, but it does, and it's great. It just makes the rifle really heavy, which is something I don't like about this gun. It's noticeably heavier than a stamped AK like my 107 FR, especially if I take, it's a 30 round AR mag here, but if I put this 40 round AR-15 mag in it fully loaded, it is significantly heavier than a fully loaded 7.62 AK. So that's the biggest detractor, in my opinion, of this rifle, is the weight. It's a hog. It's really heavy. As you know, milled steel receiver, and you get weight from that. You do. It's inexcusable. Sorry, it's inescapable. And this stock latch mechanism here is that's pretty substantial. I mean, that's all steel. That's not little. While I'm sure it's bomb proof and it's tough, it's just heavy. And this polymer actually is fairly dense as well. So, everyone raves like, oh, it's, half polymer, half milled receiver. I strongly suspect that polymer adds more weight than it needs to. Like if they just did a rock and lock version of a Gen 1 rifle, deleted all this polymer here, and just did a regular Galil grip with a rock and lock mag, I bet it would save quite a bit of weight. Unfortunately, the KNS polymer delete kits do not work with the Gen 1 5.56s because this little guy right here, bolt catch. No, I love having the bolt catch. I really like it. And I would take the bolt catch over a polymer delete kit. So it's worth it in my opinion, but I wish the polymer delete kit would work. But it won't, whatever. Give and take. Anyway, going on. So the trigger itself on this gun, I really like the safety selector on this side. If you're a right-handed shooter, it's right there where your thumb is at. Flip it on safe, perfectly out of the way of your thumb. Great, kind of heavy trigger. Really, I would say it's probably the same weight as like a mil-spec AR trigger. So it's okay. It's not great. I have an ALG trigger in my 107 FR. If I shoot this gun and then pick up my 107 FR, sometimes my 107 FR will go off before I'm even ready for it because it's like a third of the weight of this trigger. But ambi safety selector. I do like the safety selector being right there by your thumb like an AR-15, but I just wish they would have made this side longer because this is actually really stiff. It's short, so you don't get, see, you can overshoot. You don't get much leverage on this side. It's really stiff. Bolt release here, nice, knurled, or it's textured so your thumb doesn't slip off it when it's wet, it's really nice. Same with the safety here. It's this texturing, which is really nice. Excuse my nasty hands. The dust cover, I don't know. Don't think it really adds much, to be honest with you. I live in Western North Carolina, so highly doubt I'll ever be in a sandstorm where I would need that. I don't think it adds much weight though. But yeah, I like the shape of the pistol grip pretty well, actually. As you can see, it fits my hand pretty well. My thumb here wraps around this swell. It feels pretty nice. But one major complaint about this safety on this side is if you're a left-handed shooter, this is digging right into your trigger finger. I'm gonna switch hands and I'll show you here. So I'm left-handed. I'm not a left-handed shooter, but even with the safety off, it's a little bit more out of the way. But that's right in there with your trigger finger. And that's digging right in on your trigger finger. And it is uncomfortable. You can feel it. So if you're a left-handed shooter, that's actually kind of a big pain in the neck, you know. And while I wouldn't recommend this if you're a left-handed shooter, you could probably Dremel that off and just use the selector on this side. But I would have to add material to use the selector on this side because, again, it is so stiff. I don't know. Just feel like that's sort of a not so great thing about it. The stock, it's okay. I mean, you know, it's basic 6-position adjustable stock. I really wish it would came from the factory with an AR buffer tube rather than this proprietary, I don't know, I wouldn't even call that a buffer tube, just this proprietary tube here, because you can see it is not round. It's more like triangular shape, so you're pretty much stuck with this stock. Now, they make an AR buffer adapter, but dang, it's expensive. Like, it's like a couple $100 just to be able to use an AR stock on this gun, and that's just not worth it, in my opinion. Wish they had put a better... Also, there's no sling loops at all on the stock. There's this little hole, but that's too narrow for most slings. If they had just put a wide slat right here, like you see on most basic AR stocks, I think that'd be better. And that brings me to another gripe about this gun. Really the biggest glaring feature, besides the safety selector being on your finger if you're left-handed, you know, so your sling attachment point right here, that's solid steel. That's great, you know, but there's no sling attachment point up front. Like, what? And I can slide these rail panels off and put something right here, but that's not that great. I mean, I feel like it should come with a sling attachment point right here, cast into the front sight block. I'm sorry, but I'm not putting my sling right here. That's the gas block, you know. That's going to get super hot. But anyway, my phone's about to run out of space for this video, so I'm going to cut it short. And I'll be continuing to review this gun as I have it. I'm going to put a lot more rounds through it. Going to keep it because I do love it. It's a nice, awesome gun. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. And if you like the stuff I do, consider subscribing.